Are you ready to give your English a major upgrade? Today, we're going to do exactly that. We're taking your vocabulary from that beginner A1 level and blasting it straight up to a much more confident, much more articulate B2 level. Let's jump right in.
So, have you ever felt like you're stuck in a word rut? You can communicate, you can get your point across, but it feels like you're just using the same handful of basic words over and over again. It's frustrating, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about those classic go-to words, good, bad, big, small. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, don't you worry, you are in exactly the right place because we are about to change all of that.
It is time to level up. We're going to swap out those tired, overused basic words for alternatives that are way more precise, more powerful, and honestly, a lot more impressive. Think of it like upgrading the tools in your communication toolkit.
Okay, let's start with an easy one, small. Instead of saying a small detail, you could call it a minor detail if you're talking about its importance. Or if something is just physically really, really small, you can emphasize that by saying it's tiny. See that? It adds a whole new layer of meaning.
And on the flip side, of course we have big. But why just say big when you can say enormous or huge? These words just paint a much better picture, you know? An enormous success sounds way more impressive than just a big one.
Good. It's fine. It's okay, but it's not excellent, is it? When you have a really great meal, don't say it was good, say it was excellent. When you see a performance that blows you away, describe it as outstanding. It just adds so much more positive punch.
And what about bad? Well, if the weather is truly miserable, describing it as terrible or awful gets that feeling across so much more strongly. And this is the key point. You want to choose a word that really matches the intensity of what you're feeling or describing.
Let's talk feelings. Sure, you could be happy to get a gift, or you could be delighted. You might be happy about getting that new job, or you could be absolutely thrilled. These upgrades let you express a much higher, more specific level of joy.
And it works the same way for sad. Were you sad because things didn't go as you hoped? Then the word you're looking for is disappointed. Or was it a much deeper, more profound sadness? Then miserable might be the right word. It's all about that precision.
Now let's talk urgency. Something that's important definitely needs your attention, but something that's essential or crucial, well, that's on another level. It is absolutely necessary. It cannot be ignored. This one little switch can change how seriously people listen to you.
Okay, here is a word we are all guilty of overusing. Very. It's kind of weak. So instead of very good, try excellent. Instead of very important, use crucial. Or you can upgrade the word very itself to something like extremely or highly. For example, a highly respected scientist. Sounds better, right?
All right, let's move on to some action words. Instead of just say, think about how it was said. Did you just bring it up briefly in passing? Then you mentioned it. Did you declare it formally, like an official announcement? Then you stated it. These words add so much more context. Go is a great word, but it can be a little vague. For more formal instructions, you might say, please proceed to the exit. Or if you're talking about directions, you could say, okay, we need to head north on this street. It's just so much more specific. So get is probably one of the most common verbs in all of English. If you want to sound a little more formal or professional, try using obtain or acquire instead. These words usually imply that you had to put in some effort to get the thing.
Did you just make something, or did you create a work of art? Does a factory just make cars, or does it produce them? You see, create and produce suggest a more complex, more skillful process. The word think has a lot of different shades of meaning. If you're thinking about something really carefully, you're considering it. If you believe something is true but you don't really have proof, you assume it. These upgrades add a ton of nuance to your thoughts. You know, you don't just look at something in a science experiment, you observe it very carefully. A doctor doesn't just look at a patient, they examine them closely. These words signal a much deeper level of attention and focus.
And finally, help. In a slightly more formal or professional situation, you can use assist or support. Just saying, how can I assist you, sounds a bit more polished than how can I help you, doesn't it?
Okay, so we've learned a bunch of great new words, but what's the real impact? Why does this actually matter in a real conversation?
Well, let's look at a quick before and after to see how these upgrades can totally transform not just your sentence, but how people hear what you're saying.
All right, listen to this sentence. He said the big project was a good idea. It's fine. It's clear. We totally get the meaning, but it feels a little basic, a little flat. It doesn't really have any energy.
Now listen to the upgrade. He stated the enormous project was an excellent idea. Whoa, can you hear that difference? Stated is more formal, more definitive. Enormous really drives home the scale, and excellent is such a strong endorsement. The meaning is the same, but the impact, it's just worlds apart.
So you're probably feeling motivated, which is awesome. But you might be thinking, okay, this is great, but how do I actually remember to use these words? Well, the key is active practice. And I've got a really simple 3-step plan to make it happen.
It's honestly this simple. First, every day, just pick one, just one, word pair from our list. Second, create your own sentence using that B2 upgrade. Make it about your life, your job, your hobbies. And third, and this is so important, say your new sentence out loud. That's what helps build the strong connection in your brain.
Look, this is not about learning a giant list all at once. It's about taking small, consistent steps day after day. It's about progress, not perfection. So that leaves just one final question to get you started on this journey. What word will you upgrade today?